head, no ways to know my inside of my head. This is a thought I do not know how to live inside you. No ways to know my inside of my head. This is a thought I do not know how to live inside you. Everything. And the morning consists of finding mistakes. I am cut to the bed. It won't be unusual. The days are polluted outside of my mind, and if whenever I can find the time for this. And each rhythm is meant to vibration you give in my mind. Sweet fascination of it. It's what it's good. Music and about. It's a dedication to be. Oh, then you can dream. 24 hours ago was yesterday, joy riding in a front seat of a van, driven by infidelity, running over my spirits and killing pregnant hopes, and maybe that's the reason why I was smiling anymore. It's too much on my plate to be absorbed, leaked out to the tip of this pen, but I'm tired of writing like clocks doing knows this, and I want to rest these hands down, suggest you speaking numbers because your words never out of me drowning in the sea of ours. Letters from unspoken words filling my lungs, and I'm choking on everything that you didn't say, but maybe I'll recycle the pages so your mental know some place that resistance to the backbone, and like a blind man still in my good looks, and I've been robbing tomorrow, but I'll get by with yesterday in my pocket. And the morning reclaimed itself, finding me stagnant as I lay after my bed. But won't be unusual to the sport of community which your outline and echoes, but I'll lend my 24 hours to the compassion and reciprocation. So what good is a home with no more visit but the blues that bother when it's and pray emotion will find their way in. And work on memories taking a life of their own fresh and full of energy and making breathing inside the heads to give it birth to have brief thoughts and nest in the ledge of high rise. Being chased in my own body, follow me down into this leading trails and follow me in deep thought without a shovel to dig myself out of and not be the cemetery some question I ask. Deliberated from the lies, and nevertheless, this month's issue was honesty. You find me the centerfold of a playboy, touching the private matters of the villain and the truth, and hoping the question marks of the papers or comments that follow. So shake my hand till you get the effect you desire right now. Counseling for the marriage of concept, guitar strings dangling above my loaded ambition, sipping the wanting for companionship like a song in love with herself, but you can never mind the paper's cousin's heart in his hands. I guess we'll know. Eventually, to this event, for this to be everything that you dream, you sleep. Walking.
yourself hypocritical for the headstone, and the music for the you can bend the book of hymns and for them for the fill of flowers and skimming through the pages of this heart that fill the corner with the sacred day song and praise. Find the book of the ring, the hymns, and this to bring the poems and the song with the horns, the songs, and just to see the darkness. And the page glow for the youth world, or rather, and if it appeared to me for the just to be the case in the book for the what you must do, I knew for the this to to him for this on transcend for the heaven and on with their part. Appearing as a star for the God is good, for the good is beautiful. God is beautiful and never defined of this is simplicity in the storm. You either sleep or awake for the drifting into the head for this phantom of the limiting of what you entertain for certain attachments for the limiting of whatever for the whole body for the beat the social goals of this leave for the breathies. And simplicity in the storm for the phantom or the social goals for the love and the hate the way that make you sad enough for the way to give me energy for the fumes. I went to confront for the person who ruined me for the encountering of what you said or not feel to find a ride for this innate to be the empty epitaph for this epilogue for this the wondrous range. And there are more things in the heaven and earth for this and all the Horatio for the dream for the philosophy for this what the haunting theory is for the lingering presence for the bones of the case this in the past and the remnant for the proof of the bent. Absent tenants and never the memory of the living death for this to us so what's the proof of the life for this is stranger that seems to seem to find admiration for the surrounding and the familiar shoes. In the plain sight for the parallel path of this walking over the opposite halls of the stars field for this to be the scan. Think of the remnant for the resting for the force and over the greater destiny for the this to be the pool of the quake in the waves and this is scoring. Discourse this drowning at the point of God and prosperous. Leave not rack behind for the never the stuff of the dreams are made of and the world you have a little life of the running of the sleep. Sleepwalk with the what is left of the endless of the dreams to go. And the cold hands of the moon to hold the heart for this the rippling in the truth is soon. There were things that not to know for the strange and temperance over the toss this cat's cradle over the faith for this so after love for there's nothing left to take. But make love, not war for this is done for the hope left for the already don't have a bone for the make you believe it and never to see there's such a thirst and silent listening over the wind. Echoing in the silence and this is in for them for the billowing over the shadowing and the delight. Emerging for the new energy for the manifestation for the glee for the intimacy for the daylight. Shadowing at the pompous over the featuring the dampering of the portrait. Such as that for the hearts that flowing, but the symbolic and desire for the every turn, for this abandon over the power to bound, for this we the grasping, for the emotion to grasp, this when the billowing over the fury. Primitive collapse is like ravens, for the hunting of the blood, for the swooping down, for the filling of the masses, for the grim of the tail, the clutch of the night, for the evening, over the frozen laughter, for the dancing of the wind. Such as the madness of being the life into the soul, for the forgotten fruits of this antimatter, for the curse of the water, for the old. It was a note, not a month of detail for the form. You have the answers on the mind for the mind to find the type of the most the darkest in the world for the most vulnerable for the tarnishing of the chest. It feels the empty collide for the tickling of the sign for the stop. Rust corrodes the gears and I swallow the acid tears and this is searching in the falling from the I discover for the beyond feeling. And it was all the thoughts with the cup of tea, the canvas of the ink, black skies, the blood, the red drawn for the leaking through the blinds and the putting into the room for the wound of the colors. The outline was there for just the filling into the colors of the beauty to find the scars and this left of both of us. It meant to find a blinding dawn for the swallowing of the me whole for the eternal dusk of the somewhere inside that cursed carnivore and carnivore over there find and I don't care and run to act like to feel nothing for the fire inside of me. Color of the night and the wildfires to leather for the taking off of the lamp for the cure for the necessity for the intimate for the condolence and for the condolences of myself for the wild for the choking of my tear for the fire and the sharing the smile. For the long time for the God and about the detriment for this to look for the roughness in the stone exactly if it was it this 1,000 years ago for the composition for not the shape of this black hooded for the paint the splatter for the wearing the shirt for the wear guy for the color for the night for the wildflower that you could be. The soul escaped for the rage to feeling too much, and this is smash his own windows for the looking to his soul, for this is his fist that went through. With the dark glass for the drew them back, for the cross the jagged edge, for the city in the rhythm, for the feeling in the warm flow, for the crimson and fluid, for the rundown for the name, for the roaring, for the pain, for this overwhelming, for the sense of the relief. And the heartbeat for the now is slowing and the ever growing, for this will be the look of the good and bad, for the losing the consciousness for the whole, the soul was tainted for the blood, for the sleeping out. And this is soul that needs to be freed for the throne to change. Headed to the darkness for so long, not knowing that you were the light inside, within the song that I wrote. You sing, I walk, you talk, the background, for this to be the losing ground, for the I'm done now, for the way for the disappear, for the burning and no longer for the keep in sight, for the pure, for the void, for this to need to sacrifice, for this to find the burning through the everything, for the hell in your face, and this is all a dream, wide awake.
Understand, but you had to pretend. What's the end? But only the beginning. For the limbo, there's someone to put the drink near me for the one of your taste. With the alcohol drops taking over. The limbo for the to be the purple. Gender will rain for the not the same as a result. Remember the needs and the stem and all for the disappear the dead branch for the one of the mortality for the life of the breath of the limbo. With the life of the tempting, the urge for the gift for this is questioning everything for the partaking with you cannot never again for the worst of the cleverity for the peace of the worst of the good in the future. Depends upon the course of this to not give up with the urge and never the euphoric bliss of this natural and unnatural cosmic and for the blessing for the temptation of the gives you strength for the denied the stroke of the concern for your tradition of the good luck with the living reckon the call for the emotion to spill out. Let it bleed and never the presence and not be shy. Sometimes you need a good cry for not the best, but needed to be sad. Feel this bleeding after the feast, this trembling of the savory. Gentle craving of the simple for the tasting of the soul spilled out for the hoover, aware for the give it a little, for the tear, for the branding, for the raving, for the aspect, for the rolling of the swirl, and all of the waving, the spell of the way. Feel this isn't genuine for the healing, I must say. Living deliciously for the relentlessly for the singing to be close to you. It's entitled for the making me that this is to make sure I didn't know what's happening in the please make it clear. Colors of my soul for the soul bleeding, the colors of the burn for the shimmer, the ink of the radiant, riot for the storm with the sunlight, for the shadows and fire with it. You can all admire desire for the sipping fire, the raw, for the trembling of the hue, for the longing, for the cannot name. Stretching the raw to the edge of my chest to the pudding in the scene. Of who it was, or the thought it was, or the motive gold for the blinding and the warmth, for the rising of the wreckage, the joy that I find is sweet, for the show, collapse. Crimson leaks into the memory, for the cracks in the bones, for the sharp of the speed, for the ache of the loss of the pulse and the heartbeats, the carrying us with the electronic, the turquoise flash, this people. Jacket covering the truth, this current through fear. From the light to the corner for the dark, you would not. This find the deepest black pools of the chill, hungry over the way nights. You don't have to rhyme and over the walking alone. For the quiet ache of the dragon to me for the brightest moment. This work together for the bleeding and spectrum for the cannot tame the unexplained. This amounts messing over the loud, beautiful with the painful. Desperate electric for the these are the colors of my soul for the burn for the because of your life and not to be concerned for you. You don't have to rhyme. Thankful. I have this truly for the hemisphere. Heart, listen to every 2 billion versions of me. Darkness that secretly came from the realm of the world who never existed but the place of the car for the breath of the depth of the universe. This is love of the emergency and frost. Cracking over the spine of the world for the spreading and the numb for the touch of this or anything that foolish enough for the be one. It has no face of the void and absolutely this is like the weather for the big forward dares to just touch and edge of this fading of the approaching and terrified about it to read it seems to the drift and the terrible palm of the party not fine. Need to run for the hunger for the not the frantic for the precise and the mathematical for the inevitable for the rare capacity for the you had to do it again. I don't understand, but you had to pretend it was the end. When on the beginning for the limbo, there's someone with the drink near me for the wanting to taste with the alcohol drops taking over the minimum for the to be the culprit. Gender rain for the not the same as a result. Remember the leaves and the stem and the all for the distributed dead branch for the one with the immortality for the life of the grappling of the with the life of the tempting, the urge for the year for bliss, questioning everything for the partaking with the you cannot never again for the worst, the clarity for the peace of the worst, and you can be the future. What depends upon the course of this to not give up with the urge, and never for you forward bliss, and does natural and unnatural cosmic, and for the wisdom for the temptation, for the gives you strength for the denial, the stroke, the conviction, for your tradition, never get low, everything. I reckon the call for the emotion to spill out. Let it bleed, and never the presence and not be shy. Sometimes you need a good cry for not the best, but needing to be sad. If you are feel this bleeding after the peace, this trembling of the savory. The gentle craving of the simple for the tasting of the soul spilled out for the who aware for the give it a little, for the tear, for the branding, for the raving, for the aspect, for the rolling of the swirl, for the waving, for the respect, the way. Feel this isn't genuine for the healing, I must say. Living deliciously for the relentlessly for the singing to be closer to you. It's entitled for the making me that just make sure I didn't know what's happening. Please make it clear. Colors of my soul for the soul bleeding, the colors of the burn for the shimmer, the ink of the radiant, riot for the storm, with the sunlight for the shadows and fire. You can all admire desire for the singing fire, the wall for the trembling and the hue for the longing for the cannot name. Stretching the raw to the edge of my chest to the pudding and the scene. Who it was, or the thought it was, or the motive gold for the blindness and warmth for the rising of the wreckage, the joy that I find is a good feel for the shimmer and the heavenly collapse. Crimson leaks into the middle, for the grass and the bones, the sharp of the speed for the ache of the loss of the pulse and the heartbeats, and the carrying us out for the electronic and turquoise flash, this people. Jacket covering the truth, this current through fear for the light to the corner for the dark, you would not. This find the deepest black pools of the chill, you don't have to rhyme and really walking alone for the quiet ache of the dragon to me for the brightest moment. Just work together for the bleeding and spectrum for the cannot tame the unexplained. This amounts to messaging for the loud, beautiful with the painful. Desperate electric for the these are the colors of my soul for the burn because of their life and not to be concerned for you don't have to rhyme. Thankful. I have this truly for the hemisphere. Heart, listen to every 2 billion versions of me. Darkness that secretly came from the realm of the world who never existed but the place of the car for the breath of the depth of the universe. This is love of the emergency and frozen. Cracking over the spine of the world for the spreading and the numb, but the touch of this or anything that foolish enough to be one. It has no face of the void and absolutely this is like the weather for the big forward dares to just touch the edge and just fading with the approaching and terrified about it to me. It seems like the drift and the terrible.
the hunger, for the not the frantic, for the precise, and the mathematical, for the inevitable, for the weird capacity, for the crystallizing of the show. And that fall like destiny, for the dying stream, for the focus to turn the glass of the river to stop me, curving over the floating over the frozen, the surrender, for the disseminating, and the odor, for the food, for the listening warmth, for the breath, for the heartbeat, for the single breath, for the determining of the spark, for the flying. The world around us dim, but the exhaling, and for the exhaling of the lost and hoping, this darkness and does not devour the race of this completely immediately, and for the behind no echo, for the shadow, for the every memory of what was the once existed, for the still that he moves in the cold of the first of the side till the sun dies and we found the seeking of the final ember, for the universe till it cannot hide forever, for the comes darkness and seeks. We eventually find everything and still that dares to warm. When it was still swarm for what it was, the swallow for the hollow for the level, the piece of the present itself for the praise, saying when not to be departed, and for the apart, I guess it was in China sometime. Never sighted. The universe can hear me, for still know that whether you be you, for the to get it fixed and to fix it, to fix it, I find I never ever for the standing in the line for me to prick me to pick. You can have it never sighted for the final need to listen. Enough of the win, enough of the proud, enough of the beater, for the joker, for the feeling, I can be the car, for the gaining of yards, of the broken moon, for the drowning of the stars, for the rusting of the being, for the never win the grave, for the overshadowing in the shade. My silence fighting you for the unsettling of the already know, for the power, for the tremor beneath the quiet, for the storm of the gathering behind the ribs. And this is my fulfilling a prophecy for the acrylic, for the piece of the scratching of the two, the black trees, for the yellow rims of the turn, for the teal blush, the sitting in the pond, for the frogs, the croak, the beat, the sabbats, laid the meat. This is secrets that fall. Fish to keep. Whatever killed us make us weaker, for the flattening and for a week, for the positive view, the month for this to feel like a new breath. I had it all for the twice and now for the die, for the wrong, to the limit, for the sometime now, for the buns, for the flat line, for the review, for the aching in my mind, for the vocab, for the humiliating or the degrading of the base. You can find the feeling in your face and the hands are not enough to read it over the destinies, this verse. The worst is not to come. What's behind business, find the paths and make me stronger for the everlasting. And these days seems like I don't sleep much this can. Look at the candle still burn a bit, for this with the words awaited to be written, for the knocking on the sleeves of open eyes, and this will be the curtains to the hands are lonely. The people that got lost is pen hiding under the bed for the feeling of exam lost, and just not forget for the everything that really matters, and the look of left and right, and just to find a good copy for this scene to no longer forgot. And the haiku staring at the sky, not even the moon is full, for this is Thanksgiving Eve, or the draft of this to click the heart to beats and after find the bated breath. And trying to stay lit for the monster headwinds, this be the picturing of the form. From a distance, unbelievably cute. You can find a distance for the sweet how you can be thankful for, or to just be the passing now you know for the contained significant amount of this at all. A carbon that is a number of the final registration over what you found the silent response at this point for this is quiet enough for it to be viewed. Carbon. I never loved anybody or as much as who I love. The blooming in the breeze and the you look. Like a Lord of sports or this is giving it over because of the taste of the divine, the honey enough of the aggression of what you lead us to, the virginity for the purity, for the wish, this intimacy for the spirit, over the desire for love, for this to be the worth the body that I'm in. With a quietly reach out so bad enough for the ever. Part of me leans towards that for the who, I shouldn't, for the this would be the can't. Contraction to want to see you for the promising of myself I wouldn't, for the day to feel hollow for the without you in it, for the light to be dimmed a little, for the can't explain why. Your memory keeps tugging at my heart for the soft, steady, familiar. I pull still feeling my bones and miss you. And not a dramatic way for the not in this desperate way either, but just the way that love lingers and over there longer enough for the moments to pass. And so love is patient, time passes. And so many tears have fallen for they can longer count the rivers and never carve the path, and this is through the valleys of the chest. They roll like molten ink, the streaking over through the skin of nights and spilling into the hollows of the mind for the coiling of the twisting and the snakes of sorrow. For this hits against the ribs, for this is taste of salt and storm. For this is sharp electric, burning with the weight of unspoken thoughts. For this is slicing my chest, just find a drop that remembers everything. For the carry this soothe the shimmer over your liquid light, starlight flickering and over the live. It is stark to find design for the fragile mic with the for the quaking of the shiver for the against the darkness they're pressing in. Others are thick in the molten shadows of the dark rivers that are crawling down for the arch and the heart for the still, the trails that ache, that's to burn with the memory and the echo for the silence in each tear that pulls. A heartbeat cannot stay still for the wave. It cannot rise and fall for the trembling and the ferocity for the shadows and curving over the valleys and the soft hit the clay on my soul for the disobedience tears. A live restless to the insistent for the dancing of the bleeding and through the landscape for the being of forget this under the weight for the remain shattering of the trembling and the piercing of the aching alive. Thoughts of that for this, I suspect this wasn't alone for the over to spend the day with myself and never the falling and over the leaves and the memory of you for the little further out of reach and not for the after not to let it go. And the painful memories that carried by the wind for the just to hold on to one or the gold leaf rose of the wind for the remind me of the first time we say we love and to chase it after one for the hold a little longer for the couldn't let it go for the death of the big burn spoke up to me for this left me out in the cold. Crumbling to the hand for the heart crumbles into the hands of you for the round and leaves of the colors that remind me of us. This is the core divine correlation for the stop of the reaching with the memory of it. You can have that for the simile of the seasons that behind ever the two and the new one. And the crow's echoing rings of the black spilled ink. This rings to find a slicing in the air for the nights through the silence. This is one drink away for the everything you hope to stay buried in for the cries of this is echoes of the loss of the stricken over the stolen grace. Woven into the language of the twisted the mind for the chills of blood for the branches of the twisted meet them over. You can have the bow with them for the winged spectre. As a bird will across the ground for the stretching of the fingers and the touch the unwary. And the air grows thick and cold for the taste of the iron ash. This grows with this gathering possible numbers for the storm, the black wings of the jag of the sound. And over the careers across with this valley and the hearts are still alive and never then know as you know. Darkens and feels and the terror of the silence and the intelligence and over the night in itself. This where the echoes of the fade that and do not leave, and the shadows linger over the skimming of the edge of your vision for the reminding of the same screen and for the watch. Step, place, position.
It was the holy soul of wretched resilience, yet again for the woes of the facts and fate, determining an almost hopeless and volatile paradox of your existence, for this is the true balance of the holy and the holy and holiness and the vibrant matching of the spectrum of the degree. Two sides of the same idea, for the who will survive such a duality, for who will grant such an existence, for the searching of the prodding, for the seeking and the thriving and the grand experience, attempting over the discovering of the truth. Formulated a purpose over your correct grand devour a hypothesis, enough questions for the answers you seek are here. Just waiting for the moment of discernment, for the ever dreaming, the conscious possibility, for the will to know the drive, for just to keep the threading of the life of the life, for the even after the end of all we know and the unknown reality, for this will remain. It is an absolute one of many, for this we want. We need you there for the moment, for the end of no witness in the truth, for this to be the embrace, for the end of everything, for the hold us and give us the comfort, for the ultimate intimacy, for the will to be the birth of the new vision, for the one and perfect and replenished, and this to truly get cherished, to over the creation, the invigorator over the making grand interest and over the event. Unmeasurable pleasure for the peace of this is what we desire. And I turned that into smiles when to find the wearing of what you say that suits you, for the never to turn into the smiles and never to see you walk towards me again, for this the realizing over the rebound for you, for the everything with you told me at night, for the can't see me, let it go for the sun that you told me about. And the same day, same different feeling over the taking over everything, but they're not beat me up. The season after act to run to return, for the one day will pass, this will be memorable enough for the gloomy nights of this to build character in one story. The road no longer stands, this is sitting on its knee for the trying to keep itself alive, for the we won't let it in nature breathe. Gloating in the coding of the world, for the yet art disease of the cage of the birds like the bees, and this to make matchsticks for the trees, and for the make more match, make for the populating over the continuing, the consuming in the unsustainable rate. There would be no need to fear obesity over the just an empty plate, for this is third world collapse, this perhaps this is modern, over the you'll carefully design more trap. Pretending over there's an ending over the you're finally free for this, so obviously for the destructive, for your aim to make money, for the will not set the morals to die. To pay the sky to hide the interest of the investigator, to buy your time for this, to make it back and forth, twice the price of this, gladly for you over for the pretending over the not nice. And half the world watches over the other her build the bricks, this is used to build and over the wide to find to divide the contour over the tricks, hunting over the rubble over the rubbing it together with two sticks, this is your leaders of the you can lie. Surely you cannot deny the genocide, the war for the pride, for the ignorance and the innocent died. Well, you liar. You had to be the plier for the execution of the ceasefire. The bank the balance and never the seem to get higher, for the incubating the terror, the hate for the over. You want to label the fellow, but you can stay still. For the play for the disappointing feeling, for the why you bite the narrative, for the convincing of the public and everything is great. It's not. And the day for the dry anyway for the family to be gotten. Everything in between for this to be the obvious. You pick that. You can pick you for the never to find it anymore, for the anonymous, for the nothing is changing, for the listen to me now, for the if you don't feel you can be the lie. Time for the sun is lower, for the days that are mostly over the garment never came. Hell, you find strong enough to find it you to try to remind. I find in observation for the many others who observe this make a dose of substance. And they are not supposed to be mixed together ever. But you can have the freedom for the just sovereignty for the fighting their daily, for their throwing stones at the aims of the entities. That it's the rare truth that this will never be the same for the thought of the night, for the lingers in the back of the brain, for the you just be the rest. The crave for the who's to blame, for the two, for the one, for the single factor, for the came to play, for the mind, for the pain, for the knowing that it could be replaced. This forget you for the leaving you behind, for the dust from yesterday. Provocatively for the thinking of you for the same to you. No shame for the how I lost you. For the this is crazy for the deranged of the day to call for you to call me insane that crazy. Maybe just call. Unfair to say it all for the sting for the leaving the mark so deep for the everything you do find feel different for the never the record for the you can have the spinning of around for the urn for the tip for the till the deeper thought knew you for the find a frenzy. And you can be there. Consecrate. What you know about the rise and fall for you, the crave for this to hush the night for the breaking of the day, and the chest to breathe for everything in between, for this is what it means to fall in love again, for the risk it all, for the feeling your skin, for the need to want, for this no mind, this bottom line, the rise and fall for the falling in love, and it reminds me of your sin.